Hello, my super students, and welcome again in Grammar Unit 11. And today's rule of grammar is about gerund. You'll find it easy, just it depends on studying and memorizing. So let's see. First of all, what is the meaning of gerund? Gerund? Huh? Yes, great. The verb plus ing. So let's move to the first one. When I say I'm interested in shopping, so here I add to the verb ing. It's called gerund. So gerund I add to the verb ing. So when I say I'm interested in shopping, here I use gerund after what? Perfect preposition. So I use gerund after prepositions. Okay? The second condition, when I say I avoid shopping at supermarket. So when I say I avoid shopping here I use again gerund. So yes, I use gerund after verb or phrasal verb. What are these verbs or phrasal verbs? I'll tell you. Okay, but mark number 2 and I'll tell you these verbs. The verbs which are following by ing, gerund. The third condition, subject of the sentence. So I use gerund ing when I'm talking about the subject of the sentence. So when I say shopping is very important. So what is the subject? Shopping. So I use ing once I'm talking about the subject of the sentence. And the last one, when I say I love shopping, so when I use gerund or ing, this is shopping is very important. This is subject, but I love shopping. This is object. Yes, great, perfect. Okay, so the last type or the last condition I use gerund or ing once I'm talking about the object of the sentence. So when I say I love shopping, this gerund which is shopping and I add ing or I use gerund because this is object. So let's recap again. I use gerund in 4 conditions or under 4 conditions. The first condition is after preposition, interested in shopping. The second condition, and remark this condition after specific verbs or phrasal verbs. The third condition, the subject, and the last condition, object. Okay? Okay, here are, let's move to, okay. Here are some verbs or phrases that we use after them gerund. So when I say admit, is followed by gerund. I admit stealing your pen. Okay? Avoid. Guys, do you remember this sentence? I avoid shopping. So after certain verb like avoid, I use ing or gerund. So here, admit, avoid, be used to, can't help, can't stand, deny, dislike, don't mind, enjoy, fancy, feel like, finish, forgive, hate, have difficulty, imagine, involve, it's no good, it's no use, it's not worth, keep, like, love, miss, practice, prefer, prevent, regret, risk, spend time, suggest. So when I say some students are having difficulty, where is yes, this one. So are having difficulty, and I told you after these verbs I use ing. So are having difficulty doing, not do or not to do, no, doing. I use gerund. Their math exercise. Another example, it's no good only studying for tests. So do you remember? It's no good only. Where is it? Um, yes, it's no good. So it's no good only, as I told you, after these verbs I use gerund, ing. It's no good only studying, not study or not to study, no, studying, ing. Okay, guys, understand? Is it easy? Okay, just it depends on memorizing, as I told you, on studying. So study these verbs and bear your mind. After these verbs, I add ing or gerund to the verb. Okay, let's move to full infinitive and bare infinitive. What is the meaning of full infinitive? Full infinitive, it means to plus infinitive. And bare infinitive, it's like, for example, drink without to. So, full infinitive, it means to plus infinitive. Bare infinitive, infinitive without to. Let's see the examples and you will get the meaning and you will understand from the examples. When I say, I went to the library to look up information. So here I used full infinitive. Why? Why I said it's full infinitive? Because there is uh, to, I went to the library to look up. So because there is to and then the verb in the infinitive. So here when I say to and the infinitive, it means a full infinitive. When I say I went to the library to look up information, here I used full infinitive. Why? Because I'm talking about purpose. I express purpose. I go to for a specific reason. Another example, I go to the school or I go to school to look up information or to learn. So here it's full infinitive. Why? Because there is to plus verb in the infinitive. To learn, to study, to look up. To plus infinitive, it means full infinitive. I use full infinitive, number one, when I express specific purpose. Number two, after adjective. Like, for example, I was happy to pass the exam. I was sad to fail the exam. So, after specific adjectives like happy, sad, okay? Number three, I use full infinitive, which means to plus verb in the infinitive after words like to and enough. For example, this tea, there's tea here. This tea is too hot to drink. So here I used to plus infinitive because, as I told you, I use full infinitive after to or enough. So this tea is too hot to drink. Okay, another example for enough, I can say Ali's grades weren't good enough for him to go. So when I say enough, I use to after enough. To plus infinitive. Like after to, I use to plus infinitive, which is full infinitive. The last condition I used in this condition, full infinitive, which means a to plus infinitive, after certain verbs, like become. When I say become or prepare. For example, I prepare to travel abroad. So here I use full infinitive. Why? Because this is to plus infinitive. Okay? What are these verbs? Let's read these verbs together. We also use full infinitives, which means to plus infinitive after certain verbs and phrases. Afford, like the teacher afford to give. So here I use full infinitive. To plus infinitive. So to plus infinitive, it means full infinitive after certain verbs. So after these verbs, I use full infinitive. To plus infinitive. Afford to go, fail to pass the exam, forget to bring my book. So after these verbs, I add to plus infinitive, which means full infinitives. Afford, agree, allow, appear, arrange, ask, begin, choose, decide, expect, fail, forget, hope, invite, learn, manage, need, offer, persuade, plan, prepare, pretend, promise, refuse, seem, start, want, would like. After you memorize these words, it will be easy for you to put after these verbs full infinitive. To plus infinitive. Okay? For example, the teacher offered to give the weak students some extra help with math. So offered or afford, offered, yes, or afford. So we have offer or afford. The teacher offered to give the weak student some extra help with math. So here I after offered I use full infinitive to plus give. Okay, let's move to bare infinitive. Bare infinitive, as I told you, I use to without I use infinitive without to. Like for example, I should study. Here I add infinitive like study without to. I don't say I should to study. No, it's wrong. I should study immediately. This is bare infinitive. After would rather. For example, I'd rather stay at home. Okay, after had better, and I use it for advice. For example, you had better be careful. So after had better, I use infinitive, which is be. When hike the mountain. Okay, so after models or would rather or had better, I use bare infinitive. What is the meaning of bare infinitive? Infinitive only, without to. I use after these verbs to plus infinitive. You should study them, you should memorize them. As I told you, it depends on memorizing, studying. So now we have some verbs. When I say I begin to study, it's the same meaning when I say I begin studying hard. So whether it's followed by full infinitive or gerund ing, it has the same meaning. So when I say I begin to study, it's the same when I say I begin studying hard. However, there are some verbs when I use them in gerund or in full infinitive, it has different meanings. For example, when I say I stopped smoking, here I add gerund after stop. And when I say I stopped to smoke, here actually there is difference in meaning. What is the difference? When I say I stopped smoking, it means I I give up smoking. I didn't smoke anymore. But when I say I stopped to smoke, it means I was walking in the street and I stopped to smoke a cigarette. So here now I'm a smoker. I stopped, I didn't walk in order to smoke. But here when I say I stopped smoking, it means I give up smoking. So again, there are some verbs when I use them after in per infinitive or gerund, there is no difference in meaning. But there are some verbs they have different meaning whether I use gerund after them or full infinitive. Okay, so the first one, stopped smoking, it means give up smoking. Stop to smoke, I stopped to smoke my cigarette. Okay, here when I say Mark remembers to lock the car or Mark remembers locking the car. So here when I say remembers is followed by full infinitive, to plus infinitive, and here gerund. Is there any difference in meaning? Yes, there is difference in meaning. When I say Mark remembers to lock the car, it means he remembers to lock the car and he locked the car. But when I say Mark remembers locking the car, it means Mark locks the car. For example, I will explain it in another way. Here, Mark remembers to lock the car. Once he got out of his car, he remembered and he locked the car. But here, Mark remembers locking the car. For example, I left the car and I went to my home. While I was staying at my home, I remembered locking the car. Okay, so here it happened immediately while I'm staying in front of my car. I remembered to lock the car. But here, once I left the car and I went to my home, I remembered locking the car. I remembered that I locked the car. Okay, so there is difference. Here, regret. When I say regret plus to plus infinitive, it means I'm sorry for this. Okay, be sorry normally used in present simple and is followed by verbs such as say or tell or inform. For example, I regret to inform you that you have failed the exam. So here I'm sorry to inform you that. But when I say regret buying, regret plus ing gerund. When I say I regret buying so many things in the sale. So here I did something and I regretted buying, or I regretted going shopping or doing shopping. Okay? So here when I say I regret to inform, I'm sorry to say, and this normally used in the present simple and is followed by say, tell, or inform. These verbs, three verbs. So I regret to inform or to say or to tell you, okay, that you have failed the exam. So you failed the exam, and I regret to inform you this. I knew your degree, and I regret to inform you these bad degrees. But here, when I say he regretted buying, it means he bought many things in the sale and he regretted doing this. He is not happy about doing this. Okay? Go on. Go on, once is followed by infinitive, it means then. For example, she introduced herself and went on to talk about her new book. So, after she introduced herself, then she talked about her new book. So, when on means then. Okay? So go on plus full infinitive, it means then. Go on plus gerund or ing, it means continue. He went on writing letters until 10 hours or 10. Okay? So here he continued writing letters until 10. So here we have different meanings. Try. Try once is followed by full infinitive, it means attempt to do one's best. For example, he tries to find new species in the depth. Okay? So he attempted, he tried to do something. Okay? But try plus ing, it means to do something as an experiment. Okay? If you want to pass chemistry, try studying. So it depends on experiment, on studying. Okay, try studying together with some friends. So here we have different meanings. Let's move to forget to plus infinitive, forget plus gerund. When I say I forget to buy, or sorry, I forgot to buy something for dinner, so I didn't remember. I forgot to buy something for dinner. I went to my home and I didn't buy anything for dinner. I forgot. But when I say I never forget seeing the Taj Mahal, it means you did something and won't forget it. So I'll never forget seeing the Taj Mahal. I didn't forget seeing the Taj Mahal. I never forget seeing the Taj Mahal. So you did something and you won't forget it. And you cannot forget it. Okay? You did something but you cannot forget it. But here you forgot. Okay? For example, another example, I forgot to call you yesterday. So it means I didn't call you. I forgot. But when I say I forgot calling you yesterday, it means I called you yesterday, but today I couldn't remember that I called you yesterday. So for forgot to, you couldn't remember and you didn't do the action. But forget doing or calling or seeing, you did the action but you forgot that you did the action. Okay, I hope, yeah, it's a little bit confusing, but it's easy just by studying. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope that you understand our grammar today about gerund and infinitive. And now let's move to close up, and let's answer the questions based on grammar, gerund and infinitive on page 143. Okay, so exercise A. Look at the gerunds in bold in these sentences. How are gerunds formed? John is interested in studying. Do you remember this example? So we formed gerund or ing after preposition. The teacher avoids shouting. So here we use gerund or ing after specific words. Here it isn't worth revising all night for a test. It isn't worth after specific phrases. Isn't worth. She loves swimming here, object. Surfing the net is his favorite pastime. Serving, this is subject. So we use ing, subject, object, specific phrases, specific verbs after preposition. Gerunds are formed with a verb and ing ending. This is gerund, the meaning of gerund. Okay, so gerund after the verb or phrases. Yes, great. Avoid shouting. It is not worth revising. And after a specific verb like loves. Gerund after preposition. Interested in. It's number A. After in, I used preposition. Gerund used as the subject of a sentence. Subject, surfing. Yes, great. Yes, here. Gerund used as the object of a sentence. She loves swimming, so here it's number D. Let's move to exercise C.